So, we'll see what happens tomorrow as far as who gets drafted to SmackDown. I will say this, and I made this comment on Twitter tonight. Obviously, we know it's not going to happen, but, Kevin and I are going to have an impromptu debate about Mauro Ranallo. Okay? For people that don't know, Mauro Ranallo is pretty much done with WWE. His contract runs out in August. WWE is going to honor that contract until August. He's finished. All right. I was going to play a clip of Mish and I from Breakfast Soup from about 3 or 4 weeks ago. We, back then, were very concerned about Mauro missing 2 SmackDowns in a row. We speculated that it had to do with JBL, some of the incidents and this and that. And apparently that's what it has led to be. What I had said on Twitter today, which, is kind of sad that maybe they could have tried to work this out with Mauro Ranallo, is maybe they should have done something where they drafted Mauro Ranallo to Raw and Michael Cole to SmackDown. This way, Mauro Ranallo no longer has to deal with JBL. All right. Now, JBL, gave some heat, towards Mauro Ranallo. Some people have said for missing, SmackDown 2 weeks in a row. Also because Mauro Ranallo was not chosen as the announcer of the year. JBL's defense was, hey, I'm a heel. Don't take it seriously. I wish Mauro Ranallo nothing but the best. But right away, it opened the floodgates because everybody knows the history of JBL bullying people. Yep. You have Justin Roberts trying to fucking capitalize on it, to try to get press. Look at me, because JBL hazed him back in the day. You got a few others that didn't like JBL that are, feel like they're getting their revenge on him now. And in no way, shape, or form am I a big JBL fan. I've hated him for many, many years.
Yeah, me too.
But we are not backstage. And we don't know how much JBL still hazes or not. We don't know if he even does any of that anymore. All right. Yeah, he gives a lot of shit to Byron Saxton and, he criticizes him and cracks jokes on TV. But here's the thing with Mauro Ranallo. Okay. He's bipolar. He's done interviews where he's talked about being bipolar. He's done interviews saying, I've never attempted suicide, but I've thought about it in the past. And I have said many times, Mauro Ranallo is my favorite wrestling announcer today. All right. And the reason why I'm saying that is because what I'm about to say is being said to have a nice discussion with Kevin Castle. All right. Whether you're hearing this on YouTube or you're hearing this here live or on the download, please don't take it out of context and get angry at me or angry at Kev or angry at anything that we're saying because you're a Mauro Ranallo fan. Because the question that I'm going to ask, I want you to remember, please don't be, simpleton out there. I want you to remember that I am a huge Mauro Ranallo fan. My question is this, Kev. Think of the WWE, fucking tens, maybe hundreds of millions of homes. Big, giant, billion-dollar entertainment company. You fart the wrong way, everybody knows about it. Should the WWE have hired Mauro Ranallo in the first place?
Knowing about his mental state or condition, you want to say?
Well, I want to say it like this. We knew his mental condition because it was known before he worked for WWE. All right, so it wasn't hidden. He didn't come out of the closet. All I'm saying is when you think of the stress value, how, there's critics and there's millions of people that could be jealous of you, ready to shoot you down, rip you apart. Mauro Ranallo is very beloved, and he's an awesome fucking announcer. But he's not God, and even God isn't liked by 100% of the people out there. Nobody on this earth and in the past have ever been liked 100%.
That's true.
All right. We come close, but the thing is that because of his condition, and now looking back on it, that, should the WWE have hired him in the first place?
Just to to go on both sides here, just to have some, what it could be, what it might be, we don't know. until WWE, issues a statement. But I don't think they will. I think their statement has been issued that, he's, wish him well. His contract won't be renewed and he's going to sit out. I don't think they're going to say much more. But I'm thinking that the WWE, maybe for some reason, was very ignorant to his condition, or just, didn't take the bipolar. Some people, that's very misunderstood diagnosis for a lot of people. A lot of people don't take that too seriously. I don't think a lot of people really understand it unless they deal with it, or they've had it, or they have a family member with it. A company like that, you're right, they shouldn't fall back on ignorance. But I think it was. I think since it wasn't a physical thing, and he could do his job, and he was good, and he was hireable, and he worked many places, was he ever let go, or did he ever have a breakdown on the air? Does anybody know that? In any of the places he worked, does he have a history of falling apart or missing work? Has this ever happened to him before? That's an important part of the equation, I think.
I want to make this point because a lot of people in the chat room are reiterating a phrase that no one should ever be bullied, period. And I agree with that 100%. All right, but we're
not talking about that, right? We're talking about, did this happen before where he was, I hate the word triggered, I can't stand that word, but let's use it for lack of a better word. Did something happen before in any place he worked? Not being bullied, I'm talking about the pressure, the stress. Was he set off before? Did he miss work? Was he fired? Did he have incidents that were noted?
Not that I have seen, but here's the thing that, I want people to understand. This is the entertainment business for WWE. Right. There are good guys and there are bad guys. When you have announcers, you have Jesse Ventura, who is a prick to Vince McMahon. You have Gorilla Monsoon and Bobby Heenan, and they would rag on each other. All right, you want to go more recent, you got Jim Ross and Jerry the King Lawler. You had Paul Heyman, who fucking got under Jim Ross's skin. There is a good guy announcer and a bad guy announcer. And I'm not saying that JBL did not bully Marinal. I'm not saying that at all. But what I'm saying is that you go back and you look at the things that JBL has said publicly on Bring It to the Table, things on Twitter, all right? Yeah, he's like, wow, what a dick. But, I mean, come on, people. Really think about what was said. I mean, I've brought this up before. When I was in fucking kindergarten in third grade, I pulled a girl's hair and ran away. Now people consider that bullying. All right, I think every time, someone gets a little bit offended or their feelings are hurt, they immediately say, bullied, 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 bullied. What happened to Justin Roberts getting his passport, stolen by JBL and stuff? That's bullied. Okay? Things that JBL did in the past, Blue Meanie, that's bullied. All right? But cutting a promo as a heel announcer and some of the stuff that JBL's written, even though JBL comes off as a dick, is that really bullied? Seriously, everyone. And again, I got to reiterate this, because we're in the PC world, and I know some people listen and are very PC. I am a huge Mauro Ranallo fan. All I'm saying is that if something, WWE has a wellness program, and it's not just for drugs and alcohol, it's for mental health as well.
All right.
The fact that he didn't take up WWE's offer to go through wellness, the fact that he's gone, that's it, done. You know what I mean? That just like that. You know what I mean? Either there is a lot more. Sammy in the chat says that you just lost a fan. Oh, too fucking bad, because we're having a human conversation here. All right, and we're taking both sides of the coin. Would you like Kev and I to just agree on everything for the rest of the night? So, and you know what, to this guy, and I'm not going to keep, talking to people in the chat. He's going to be the poster child for everyone else. Sammy's gone. All right, I escorted him out of the building. All I'm saying, I'm not defending JBL here, okay? I'm not saying that JBL, was fine in what he did. All I'm saying is that if you take everything that we know of what JBL said, and that led to the point of this guy not showing up from work, being off the net for several weeks, having, big-time depression issues off of it, quitting, the biggest wrestling entertainment company in the world in its history, all right, from that, either there is a lot more that we don't know, or this guy maybe shouldn't have been hired in the first place.
Well, what I'm saying is this all? And I'm not a JBL fan at all. I haven't liked Bradshaw's work since he was in the beginning stages of the Acolytes, which turned into APA, and the only reason I gave it the time of day was because of Ron Simmons. Not a JBL fan at all in any way, shape, or form. But is this a smokescreen for everything? I mean, that's what I'm saying. When you have that kind of condition, different things can set it off, and obviously stress is a major factor. So JBL might have contributed to it, but is it all on him, or was this just something that came up and just got away from Ronaldo, and JBL just happens to be, on the chopping block for this because he had made an insensitive comment. He's an asshole. He puts his foot in his mouth. He's done it before. People have still never forgiven him for what he did to Blue Meanie back years ago in that ring where he shot on him, over Blue Meanie criticizing him online. So we all know JBL, not a very good guy. People said he's mellowed out over the years, but clearly this has I'm seeing him get more heat for this than he did when he beat up Meanie in the ring. I don't know. I think, how long has Ronaldo been here now? He started, in the beginning of 2016? He clocked in about a year?
About a little over a year.
All right, but that's, once again, I didn't know anything about, I researched him when he first came on board, and I thought he was a good announcer and took a look at his history, didn't know he was Canadian until I looked it up and researched him. I didn't know a lot about him. And obviously doing this show, I looked into the guy before we discussed him when he first came here, and I thought he was great. And like I said, you turn around, it's already a year and change he's been here. It seemed like he was getting along. Now all of a sudden this all comes up. And he's been working with JBL for a while. They're not new to each other. So clearly something must have happened with a personal problem. Yes, JBL says stupid things, but maybe just the stresses of working and having, the guy, I know Vince is mostly on Raw. He's not on SmackDown, but having these guys yell in your ear and tell you what to say. I mean, other former announcers have said it's very, Matt Stryker has said it's very stressful to work for the WWE. You know what I mean?
Yeah, that's what I'm saying. It's a very stressful job. And again, I'm not defending JBL in any way, shape, or form.
Neither am I. I mean, there's no doubt he was a catalyst. But I don't think he's the be-all, end-all of what happened to Ronaldo.
No,
I think maybe the pressure got to the dude. You know
I just want everyone to understand, all right? When you see CBS Sports and other places, covering this a little bit, and you see hundreds of thousands of fans all in an uproar, fire JBL, fire JBL, fire JBL.
Right.
And WWE not only does not fire him, okay? Now, for everybody that hated me before, for saying that, I want you to think about this. Why hasn't WWE even suspended JBL? Why? And I don't want anybody to say, well, WWE, what are they going to have? David Otunga and Todd Phillips on SmackDown? That's their fucking problem. All right? What I'm saying is that WWE hasn't suspended the guy, hasn't fined the guy. It's a publicly traded company, so they can't lie about it. They can't do it under the table, So the fact, when you think about all of this stuff, look, JBL has a history of being a dirtbag, all right? And I have hated JBL for well over a decade, all right? All I'm saying is that we're all Mauro Ranallo fans. You can't just turn around and say, he's ill, he's sick, he's bipolar, sympathy, fire JBL. We love Mauro. If you question it at all, you're a hater, you're this, you're that, you're this. You can't look at it like that. You also have to look at, why isn't WWE suspending JBL? Why aren't they fining him? Right. Why aren't they letting him go? Why isn't it? You understand what I'm saying? So I personally think there's either a lot more to this story that we don't know.
Oh, me too. I think there's a lot more to the story too.
Yeah, and all I say is, if this was a tiny wrestling company, we wouldn't even be having this discussion. But you're talking about the biggest wrestling company on the planet, one of the biggest entertainment companies in the world. And when someone has mental health issues like that, especially think of, what I think about with all of this? I think about Mike Adamle.
Yeah.
Everybody thought it was funny. Jeff Harvey, and all the jokes that Stephanie would make about Mike Adamle even after he was gone. And what do we find out now? The guy is suffering from dementia. He's got brain damage. He's very, very ill. Now everybody feels bad for the guy. But before they found out that he's medically sick, everybody joked along with WWE. All right? Wouldn't you consider what happened to Mike Adamle maybe a little bit more in the bullying sense than anything else? All I'm saying is that when you see this much stress involved, this ain't a little rinky-dink company. I don't know if Mauro Ranallo should have put himself in that situation. Because it's not cake and ice cream 24/7. There's a shitload of stress. There's a shitload of traveling. There's a shitload of people. There's jealousy. There's haters. And as much as we're in a PC world that we are in now, you're still not protected 24/7 from haters. I agree with people saying this was his dream job. But just because it's your dream job doesn't mean that you're mentally or physically able to handle it.
Exactly.
This goes back to whenever I make cracks on the show. All right, and I say, WWE's catering to the Make-A-Wish kids. And, what are they doing for the Make-A-Wish audience? It's not to criticize the Make-A-Wish audience, but sometimes WWE is more concerned about, making certain groups happy and everything, and then you forget to say to yourself, wait a minute, this is an entertainment company. I'm totally fine with promoting this and pushing this and making someone's dream come through and making this person happy and this and that. But on the same token, it doesn't mean that you're not going to have stress along the way. You're not going to have challenges along the way. You're not going to have this along the way. And I just wonder if Mauro Ranallo should have been put in that position in the first place. I have nothing but praise for Mauro Ranallo. He's my favorite fucking announcer. How many times do I have to reiterate that? I just look at how JBL in the year 2017, who he's not an idiot, to have this happen to the point where he is gone. You know what I mean? It's just like, if this was 10 years ago, 15 years ago, JBL, then I would say, yeah, I could, I don't blame him. I just, in the year 2017, find it fascinating that if JBL did what everybody is saying that he did, and they're bringing up all the things that JBL did 10, 15, 20 years ago, why has WWE not fined or suspended this guy? Ask yourself that question.
Well, it's like you said, maybe there's more to the story than what we're hearing about.
Yeah.
Because they could have separated these two if they didn't get along. Many announcers haven't gotten along
that's what I said.
over the years.
Put him on Raw. Put Michael Cole on SmackDown.
A lot of guys back in the NWA back in the day didn't get along. Crockett and Schiavone didn't get along at one point during the heyday of the NWA. I mean, that's when they brought Jim Ross in when they sold the UWF. It was like, thank God they got Jim Ross in. It was Crockett and Schiavone couldn't get along anymore. Schiavone wound up going to WWF for a little while anyway. Then he came back. Crockett was gone. But there's been a history of announcers and certain people not getting along, and they separate them. They're both valuable. They keep them. I don't see JBL as valuable as an announcer or a color guy. That's the weird part about it. I mean, give him an ambassador job and put him on the road and let JBL go and talk to people and go on news programs and speak. Yeah, I don't get the whole reason of why he's even the color guy. I mean, Corey Graves is so head and shoulders better than JBL. It's not even funny. So I don't know what it's not. I don't, and because everyone's making it like they picked JBL over Ranallo. Maybe Ranallo doesn't want to come back, and I don't know if any of you guys got a chance to hear it. Don Tony wasn't even aware of it till I told him. Now, it was nothing groundbreaking. Believe me, it was a cool interview, but nothing that really exposed anything, nothing new. Jim Cornette interviewed Ranallo the other day, a couple of days ago. So you could find it now on YouTube, Jim Cornette interviews. I was surprised when I saw, someone had said, hey, Kev, did you see this? I'm like, that can't be Jim Cornette interviewed this guy. Is this now, you mean? And interviewed him and talked about stuff with, he talked about his the woman who's on the Cornette show, I don't remember her name. I guess she co-hosts with him. She has her own show. She brought up bipolar. Like I said, I didn't know that Ranallo had this condition until this all came out. I really never knew about it. I never read about it. So this is all new to me. And he had a great time, it seemed, with Jim Cornette. They had a fun time talking, and but nothing really came to light other than his condition, which they talked about towards the end of the interview, how you deal with it, how it manifests itself and things like that. Because a lot of people deal with stuff, but they're just not public about it. So I give him props for coming out about it, but with the condition. But once again, we really don't know what really built this up, and maybe he just can't take working in that fucking company anymore. And JBL is just a small part of it.
Yeah, at the end of the day, all we're basically saying right now, everyone, is, why don't I think we all deserve all sides involved to step back for a moment. Because I'm not defending JBL, but I see everywhere, fire JBL, fire JBL, fire JBL. People starting campaigns, starting fucking petitions, fire JBL, fire JBL, fire JBL.
Right. I've been seeing that too, yeah.
And you know what they're basing it on? What he did to Meanie, what he did to Morrison, what he did to Justin Roberts, what he did to this, what he did to that, what he did to this.
Well, that's quite a sordid history. I think maybe it's at the point of enough is enough, because now the fans are thinking that he cost us now a top announcer. It was bad enough, Morris. I mean, what is Morrison going to come out now and say? Yeah, actually, I left the WWE that last one because JBL was making me miserable. I mean, yeah, he has a history going back to Brian Christopher. He did some heinous thing in the shower to Brian Christopher one time, and that's Jerry Lawler's son, and that's back in the Attitude Era.
Just like Michael Hayes is still employed, ask yourself again the question: why is this guy not suspended? Why is he still on TV? All right, WWE is not, especially in the year 2017, with all of their good clauses that they do for PR and publicity. All right, you think that WWE is going to allow this to metastasize and turn into a giant snowball if JBL really did some outrageous fucked up shit that we have no idea about it? See, what people need to understand is this, okay? And it's very hard. Don't get me wrong. I have no idea what Mauro Ranallo is going through, and I really feel bad for the guy. I swear on a stack of Bibles, that's how I feel about him. We don't know what the guy's going through. But, you and I, everyone listening, we could crack a joke at each other, and it's water off a duck's back. All right, fine. But to someone who is fragile and has a mental illness,
I'm not cracking jokes about it.
No. I'm not saying anybody is. All I'm saying is that what you and I could, take a joke and it goes off our back like no big deal. To someone with a mental illness, that could trigger someone to suicide.
I know.
You see on TV, you see kids, older people commit suicide. I remember there was a student not too long ago, and I know it was a big news story, where he was gay, and his roommate videotaped him as a joke and put it online, and revealed that the guy was gay, and he killed himself. And, you and I and everybody else listening that don't have a mental illness, we look at it like, wow.
I didn't say that.
No, I'm saying like, wow, that's, I can't believe that would drive someone to that point. So we don't know what Mauro Ranallo is feeling, but all I'm saying is, it's very easy to take 20 years of shit that JBL has done. Believe me, if I fucking hated someone, it's very easy to take everything that the guy's done in his entire life and use that as a resume to get the guy fucking fired. But the fact that WWE has not done anything in the year 2017 and all the causes that they do, everyone should sit back and say, why?
Well, I also saw some stuff, posted where someone said from on good authority that the WWE actually had told JBL to not bully him, but to push Ranallo and give it, make it difficult for him or put him under the gun. I mean, that's what I'm saying. When you see stuff like that, it's like, okay, is that what from authority? Who said that? I mean, it's all like, just like this show's opinions, and we discuss our opinions, our thoughts on stuff. It's the same thing with other podcasts, but there was so much reporting on this. But a majority of it was more along the lines of putting it all on JBL and saying, fire him, without anybody really examining other things. And like I said, looking to see if there was a history, seeing if there's anything more to the story. It's very one-sided right now. But once again, JBL made his bed. He made his reputation. and his reputation is for shit. So it's very easy for everyone to go after him now because now people are justifying saying, you know what, enough's enough with this fuck. And now he cost us a great announcer, us, everyone takes it like their team, almost like a great, like a ball team, and caused the player to not renew his contract because he was this guy was making him miserable. So JBL's a good guy to blame because he put it upon himself to get that rep, Yeah. And, but once again, I don't see it. I don't understand why he's even in that broadcast team in the first place. I'd rather see Otunga. That's how far I'll go with this. I'd rather have David Otunga than JBL.
Not me.
I'd rather have Otunga. I'm curious if the chat room would rather have Otunga or JBL at this point.
And I want people to think about this too. Publicly. Just the stuff that we've heard publicly. All right. Who do you think JBL is abused more publicly? Byron Saxton or Mauro Ranallo? For me, I think he is fucking belittled Byron Saxton 1,000 times more than Mauro Ranallo. I will say this.
And how ridiculous is that we're even having the discussion of who is JBL made more miserable at work?
Yeah.
I mean, how fucking stupid is this? Look. I mean, this when we're having a discussion that just, once again, this is, you said it's a publicly traded company. This is a legit company, a worldwide company. That you have a guy who does this. And I had thought JBL had mellowed out over the years. Now it seems to me, I don't know if he's worse than ever, but it seems like he's never really changed. Well, he just was doing other things and kind of deflected off himself by doing the Legend. I was watching, I enjoyed his show he did with the Legends and stuff. So I was mellowing on JBL a little bit too. Still thought his color commentary was shit, but I liked the Legend interview that he was doing. So I was kind of like, JBL's good in this position. They got to find something else for him to do if they want to keep this idiot around.
Well, I'll say this at the end of the day. Whether Mauro Ranallo should have been hired or not, I will say this. Knowing that he had this mental health issue, I think JBL, as much as he would have been tempted to haze the guy, test the guy, be a heel character on the guy, I think he might have, he should have had the smarts to take a step back and say, you know what, I can't do to him like I do to Byron Saxton. And I think that is more of a judgment call and common sense, and I think that is where JBL is wrong. Even though as a heel, as an asshole, that's different from bullying. All right, what he did to the other guys, like I said, that's bullying. All right, questioning Mauro Ranallo getting an award is not bullying. All right, if that you take that instead of Mauro Ranallo, put that for Byron Saxton. Would anybody out there have said that JBL bullied Byron Saxton? No. Right. Somebody would have said, Byron Saxton should punch him in the fucking mouth. He's a dick. All right, they wouldn't have called him a bully. They would have called him a dick. So you can't take a statement and say that he's acting like a dick towards one person, but he's acting like a bully towards someone else because that person has a mental health issue. JBL shouldn't have opened his mouth, and JBL should have stayed clear away from that because it's for JBL standards, it's toxic. You know what I mean?
At this age and stage too. I mean, JBL. Grow up. I mean, what's and the whole. I always find, and also the bully term is still one of those head shaking things because when I think of bullying, I always think of a physical threat. Or, you know what I mean? More of a physical. In our day, when someone's bullying someone on the playground, it meant that they were going to possibly get beat up or they were looking to get beat up. The person was looking to start a fight. It wasn't like, making fun of people or clowning people was just, being a dick or just being obnoxious. Bullying to me, I always kind of get used to the new term bullying because bullying to me, in my mind, is always a physical threat.
Well, I'll say this. You know how JBL could have bullied Mauro Ranallo? I'll give you one scenario where I would agree with it. JBL makes a dig towards Mauro Ranallo. Nothing heinous, but just saying something. And it triggers Mauro Ranallo, lights a fuse, or JBL sees blood in the water, and sees that it got him. Boom. I found something that I could really push his buttons with. You and I, Corey Graves, Byron Saxton, others, yeah, you could push those buttons. JBL, though, he found something and builds on it, and that's bullying. Knowing that you're really hurting someone emotionally and knowing the guy's emotional condition, and you go further with it, that could be bullying also. But I just, you know what? At the end of the day, I wish Mauro Ranallo nothing but the best. I want to thank him for the year plus that he did on TV. I honestly look back in wrestling, even when Joey Styles first came in, he wasn't spectacular right from the beginning. Mauro Ranallo came into wrestling and was fucking on and was fucking awesome from day one.
Well, he's a fan. You know what I mean? He's a fan. He wasn't just hired to do a gig.
Being a fan, if being a fan means you're a great announcer, we'd have millions.
No. But I'm saying he had the passion because he was a fan. You had to hear him talking to Cornette. He was marking out when he was talking to Cornette, saying, "Hey, no." But that's as a fan, he was saying when he was growing up in Canada. He's the same age as us, by the way. He's around our age, Ranallo. And he was saying that like Cornette, like it was such a fan. It was cool to hear him. Like so ecstatic to talk to Jim Cornette for the first time. Never got to meet him, never got to talk to him. And he wasn't acting like all professional. He was being silly and goofy, like I said, acting like a fan because he loves wrestling. And I didn't realize how much he loved wrestling because a lot of people, once again, until you really get to know and research somebody, hear it from their mouth directly. A lot of people were even speaking for him. He really didn't like wrestling. He's more of an MMA, a mixed martial art. And I'm like, no, the dude loves wrestling. He was talking old school with Cornette about the NWA, and Cornette was in Mid-South at the Midnight Express. This guy knows his shit. I didn't know he was that kind of fan from back in the day. I thought he was an announcer who happened to know about wrestling. I didn't know he grew up in Canada being a diehard NWA, WWF fan. So I knew more about him listening to him with Cornette than I ever knew about him, hearing what people are saying online about him.
Well, I wish at the end of the day we could find out that this was all one crazy storyline, which I don't believe. No. I'm just saying, like, I wish we could all just, say, oh, it was just one crazy storyline that really, hit some, real life issues. But this isn't the storyline, and if it ended up being, this would be one of the most terrible, mismanaged, non-televised storylines other than being an absentee. And let me just throw this out there because some people are obsessed with it. Simon Gotch's gone from WWE. There's some rumors that he was fired. There's other rumors that he was released. We don't know the whole deal. The bottom line is Simon Gotch is gone. Move on.
Well, he's gone, but his own partner was glad to see him go.
Well, again, we don't know. There's a lot of,
I know, but his own partner, I think, put it. I don't know if that tweet's still up there, if someone could find it, but I've never seen a tag team partner be glad his partner was gone. So yeah, Aiden English must not have cared for this guy at all.
There's a lot of questionable articles out there about this story, so I really, I think we should stay clear away from it.
Well, he got into a fight with Hunico,
right? But they didn't let him go at that time. I mean, we don't know if he was released. We don't know if he requested his release, but he's gone. I want to just mention this quick because we might as well dispel this too. Jonathan Coachman is no longer covering WWE on ESPN.
Really?
Yeah. And a lot of people immediately said, Mauro Ranallo, JBL, because of what he did to him, he can't. No, well, you'd be surprised of how that snowballed. Jonathan Coachman has clarified it and said that he is working on a big project right now, that all the stuff he did about WWE was on his own time, and that, stuff could be done in the future, but as of right now, he is not doing anything with WWE. So for everybody out there that thinks that Jonathan Coachman all of a sudden stopped covering WWE because of the Mauro Ranallo situation, apparently that's not the case.
I didn't think that would be.
No.